alive, make some noise. Damn, y'all don't sound happy to be alive. Y'all don't sound happy to be alive. If you happy to be alive, make some noise. You can make this noise, you know. We out here for Joel. Joel can't do none of that no more. We gotta keep fighting for Joel. That man was choked out for 11 minutes and 22 seconds. His last words are, "Let me go home."
I just want to go home.
I just want to go home. And them three decided that they had the choice to take their life. Just take his life. Don't none of us have that right to just take nobody's life. If any of us did something like that, we'd be under the jail already.
Right.
Joel Acevedo is Milwaukee's George Floyd. I need everybody to understand that. 2 months before George Floyd happened, Joel Acevedo was choked out in a friend's house. He was kicking it with friends during a party that wasn't even supposed to be going on because we was in quarantine during that time. Those families, the Acevedo family still ain't got justice, y'all. Every single day we come out here, we got to remember that. We're still fighting for justice for Joel Acevedo. We're still fighting for justice for Jay Anderson. We're still fighting for justice for Alvin Cole. We're still fighting for justice for Antonio Gonzalez. We don't stop until we get justice for those families, and we don't stop until there are no more hashtags in this city anymore. Like, that's it. We tired of this culture.
Actually, what we're going to have everyone do is pick an area of the city that you would like to go to, grab some literature from over here, and canvas. Pass out the literature pertaining to Joel Acevedo, information pertaining to the trial on Monday, and there's also information about TPR demands, and there's also information for people to contact the DA and tell him to charge the other two individuals involved in Joel Acevedo's murder.
And to say his name, Joel Acevedo, on April 19th, 2020, during an unsanctioned party in the middle of a statewide lockdown, 25-year-old Joel Acevedo was murdered by now former Milwaukee police officer Michael Mattioli with help from Christopher Peters and Andrew Janowski, who held Joel's body while he was choked to death. Joel was choked for 11 minutes and 22 seconds. Joel pleaded for his life for 11 minutes and 22 seconds. Joel begged to go home for 11 minutes and 22 seconds. On the 911 call, we can hear Joel plead with his last words, "Let me go home." Joel did not make it home. As of today, Peters and Janowski are being protected as key witnesses, but they are accomplices. Please contact the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office at milwaukee.da.wi.gov or at 414-278-4646 and tell them that you demand that all parties be charged in the murder of Joel Acevedo and that body camera footage be made public. So that's the ask too, right? So if you have that conversation, we want to end it with that ask of please call this number or send that email. And then on the flip side, and it's only in English, but it does have our 10 demands. So if the conversation can get there, that's always a good thing too, because the demands I've just found through canvassing are pretty well liked. So it's just good conversation. I would say don't be scared of people, especially when it comes to Joel's case. A lot of people truly just don't know and feel honestly privileged that you sought them out and told them.
That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling down.
Turn the shit out of you, Brandon.
Gotta keep my faith alive.
I've said this before, Joel Acevedo is the new Corey Stingley. And I say that because the same thing happened with Corey Stingley. John Chisholm failed to do his due diligence and his job in charging those three non-cops. Those were just everyday citizens who got to choke the life out of a 16-year-old black child and not go to jail. And now we have Joel Acevedo, where a officer can do the same thing. He can have two of his buddies participate in it, and he can be out and free right now. And those other two individuals can be claimed to be witnesses. And so we have to continue to hold John Chisholm and his office accountable. And we have to let him know that we are not proud We are not satisfied. We are not content with the fact that he keeps failing to do his job and his due diligence on protecting black and brown folks, specifically when it comes to non-black and brown folks committing these crimes against them. At the very same time, we're having discussions through the Fire and Police Commission about whether or not to ban chokeholds. Now, how ironic is that?
Ban all chokeholds. Ban them all.
Now, I don't know. My question would be, what situation have we ever seen a police officer put in to where he would have to choke somebody to death?
None.
So why are we talking about that? Why is that even a question? We don't have a chokehold problem here. That's not the typical everyday thing, how they brutalize us. That's not one of the main tactics they use. They were used in these cases that I named before, but we have to, and this is why we're groups and masses of people like TPR and the supporters of TPR, the supporters of the movement, have to be present, have to be involved outside of these marches in those spaces. You have to be involved, and you have to be a part of the space of the Fire Police Commission in those hearings that go on when we talk about these subjects.
The message is, change the laws, or the law gonna change me. What happened to Joel Acevedo is a modern day lynching. Why is it a modern day lynching? When you look into history, and even recently, a mob, which means more than one person, 2 people, 3 people come together and they restrict breathing or some extrajudicial punishment for someone who has been accused of a crime but not convicted of a crime, in which people took into their own hands. When we see George Floyd, Joel Acevedo, and a slew of others who have been choked to death, there were multiple people present. What does it make it? A lynching. Yep. Call it what it is. We're not asking you to ban chokeholds. Are you an idiot? We're asking you to ban lynchings. And if you don't change the law will change me.
Say that.
In different rooms, in different meetings, I'm lifting up the name of Joel Acevedo, Christopher Davis, Alvin Cole, Jay Anderson, Antonio Gonzalez, and many others, depending on what the subject is. I got somebody for everything. The next meeting for the FPC will be on March 18th, when they will be holding a meeting about these lynchings that they want to put an exception on. They want to put the exception on that says, if it's a life-threatening situation, I need to be able to defend my life. Every situation has been a life-threatening situation. We sick of your life-threatening situations where you and your homeboys jump on my people. The union threatened to sue the FPC if they made the decision the other day and voted yes to banning a complete ban on chokeholds. Just to let y'all know that. So it was wise for them to step back, take the legal counsel that they need to take in order to say, yes, we ban lynchings in Milwaukee. And the next thing we need to do is ban lynchings in Wisconsin. Get with the times, Wisconsin. It's like pulling teeth to get justice around here. Like y'all don't see what's going on. Don't worry if you don't see, we'll show you. Change the law, or the law will change me. It's a new time. Too lazy to find a suitable tree. All they need now is a badge and to say that they're afraid of me. Too privileged to tie a noose. All you have to be is white extreme. Look at what this crowd produced. It grew legs and decided to run. 'Cause fleeing is the only way to freedom. rotted by the horns of a gun, strange fruit. I love y'all.
To be able to constrict someone's airwave, that's inhumane. To watch somebody's life slowly fade away while you are continuously adding force, that's just so inhumane. It's so inhumane. And we just have to fight against it. We have to remember that we want that ban just as bad as it is, just as well as other states are getting it. We need it. We need to put a ban on all chokeholds. Not just, because they'll try to add stipulations to it like, well, what if, they grab me from the back? And you have a partner, somebody's going to come to your aid. But there's no way you should be able to grab somebody and choke them from the back, the front. And especially if you're accompanied with an officer. We have to add stipulations to where if they do say they won't do it, that there's no way around it that we don't get it. We have to make sure we cover all of our point of views where we want to see justice. We have to make sure we come with the facts. We're not going to accept this. We're going to stand up and fight. And I'm just happy that we have TPR. When my brother was killed, we didn't have a TPR. We had a group of angry people that just did not know how to vent. We had a group of people that was hurt and they didn't know how to display it. Now we have organized protesters. We have real freedom fighters. And we're not going to give up. So make sure y'all show up to the FPC meeting. Make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all comment. Make sure you cover your point of views and where you feel we should have justice, no matter what. That we will get justice, no matter what.
You must continue to be active. The only way to beat the system is to stay active in the system. I was talking to Sean and them, and his little son was doing the drums, and his big brother was like, look at my little brother over there doing the drums. He's finding his purpose. And in the revolution, you never know what your purpose truly is in a revolution. You start off being angry, being upset about the injustices that's happening, about your loved ones who's been hurt, about friends and families. But then as you go through the revolution, you figure out that you love art. You figure out that you love music. You figure out that you love being the voice on the bullhorn. You figure out that you love being the person in the back doing the research on all of the different names that we never hear about. You figure out your purpose as you go through the journey being in the revolution. That is the revolution. And that's how you sustain and that's how you continue to grow the movement. And I love the lit drop because it's different. Yeah, they see us in the street, they're protesting, but the lit drop gives people the opportunity to actually read, to actually study, to actually figure out on their own why these people out here. So, yeah, that's right. Yeah, continue to be a force that does a magnitude of different things to spread the message to people from all different walks of life. The message is simple. People ask you what it is that you want. You want justice. But justice isn't simple because justice looks different for many different people. So you have to be able to paint that picture for many different people. Everybody got to be able to see when you say justice, they got to be able to see themselves in your vision of justice. That's how you get more hands on board.
I said, what do we want?